We always end the year here on my channel by celebrating the best synths and music tech of the year.
Welcome to BoBeats Best Synths and Music Gear Award Show.
And today's award show is not just about highlighting great instruments, but it's also a chance for us to unite the online synth and music tech community and to geek out about the gear we spend so much time with. And to help me celebrate, I've invited a bunch of friends to share their favorite gear of the year. And make sure you leave a comment who I should invite for next year's award show.
What up, Bo? And what up to all the subscribers of BoBeats channel? I'm Fest Grandiose.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello, my name is Stephen McLeod, aka All My Friends Are Synths.
Oh, blood for the blood god!
Hi everyone, this is Idra. Thank you so much, Bo, for inviting me to the 2024 Best Synths Awards.
Hi, Bo and friends. It is a huge honor to be here this year. I'm Dylan Paris.
Thanks to Bo for inviting me to the party.
Dear Santa Claus, I've been really good this year, and there's only one thing on my Christmas list.
Hi guys, I'm Shimmer MP3.
Hey there, this is Panicle and welcome in my studio.
Hi Bo.
Hello, Bo.
Hello, Bo.
And all fellow synth heads out there in the world.
What's up everyone, and thanks for having me back, Bo.
Hello, my name's Jorb.
Hello everyone, my name's Tefty, and thank you very much, Bo, for inviting me to this year's video.
Hello! Every single year when I make this award show video, I try and mix things up a bit in terms of the guests I invite, but also the overarching theme. And for this year's award show, I wanted us to focus more attention on gear from smaller manufacturers. So this year, I think that some winners might actually surprise you, because we're not just going with what's most popular. And I'm sorry if my voice is not 100%, I've been sick for about a week, but I really wanted to get this award show out to you all. And this year's award show would not have been possible without the help from our sponsor, DistroKid. Most of us synth nerds struggle releasing our music, and it can feel quite difficult, like a daunting task to actually release it, but DistroKid makes it easy. You simply sign up, upload your music, pick an artist or band name, upload the artwork, and then you choose which stores you want the music to appear in, and it's that simple. And the best part is that it's only $22 a year for unlimited amounts of uploads. And DistroKid also creates a custom page for you to share, so that you have all your links to your music in one place. And I've been using DistroKid for over 10 years, and you should give them a try. And if you do so, use my link in the description, you get a discount, and you also support the channel and future award shows. Now, let's recap last year's winners. Best hardware effect went to Mercury X from Meris. Best budget-friendly synth went to the Roland Compact S1.
The S1's really fun, maybe the best synth since 1991.
Best synth under $1,000 went to the Pittsburgh Modular Taiga. Best hardware update went to the Synthstrom Deluge. And Groovebox of the year was split between the Push 3 and the KO2. And the best Eurorack modules was awarded to Sealegs, Seal Eggs, Oxycoral, Arcan, and Night Rider. Newcomer of the year went to the Groovebox. Best keyboard went to Expressive E for their Osmos. And Flagship Synth of the year went to Third Wave from Groove Synthesis.
Budget Synthesizer of the Year.
I think that it's fair to say that we live in a golden age when it comes to synthesizers, and never has there been so many options when it comes to budget-friendly synths. This year we wanted to give the award to a company that has a good track record of making not just affordable but also original synthesizers, and best budget-friendly synth of 2024 goes to Dreadbox for their NYX or NYX, and here to talk about it is my good friend Starsky.
Wow, it's the end of 2024. Already another year has flown by and a whole load of interesting kit has been released again this year. We are very lucky indeed, aren't we? But firstly, I'd like to say thanks to Bo for inviting me to the party. It's very nice to be asked to come along. And I wanted to show you my favorite budget synth of this year. And that's this. It's the re-release of the NYX from Dreadbox. It's a semi-modular duophonic analog synth that can be taken out of its case and placed in a Eurorack system, or played standalone like this, doing classic Christmas tracks that every synth head loves. And what's so special about the NYX, I hear you cry? Well, actually, there's a few things. Firstly is obviously the Dreadbox sound. reverb's something else, isn't it? The second thing that's really good about this is the fact that we've got 2 oscillators and 2 filters and loads of routing options. If we look on the top here, we've got different routing options for the VCOs, whether they go through filter 1 or filter 2. We have got 2 filters. Filter 2 is like an offset from filter 1. And then we've got different filter options as well, low pass, high pass, that's serial, or low pass and high pass in parallel. So if we split everything up, here the VCOs are going through the different filters, and the different filters are being modulated by different routes. So the low note isn't being modulated. And I'm just playing with filter 2, which is VCO2, which is the top note. We've got loads of tone shape and ability in there. Or we've got an LFO mode as well, which, as you heard there, can produce some beautiful FM tones. On the VCA, we've got a very similar setup as well. We've got hold. We can take the hold off and it's just an attack and release or attack and decay. And as with the other modulation generators, we've got an LFO mode as well. Again, allowing us all sorts of nice FM madness. There's loads in there already then. I've not mentioned the sync, I've not mentioned the 4th vibrato LFO, I've not mentioned the patch points. Over here on the right, there's 15 patch points, which all goes to give us a massive amount of modulation madness, and that's not that easy to say. And when you consider it's only €270 plus VAT, it comes in a kit form, but it's so easy to put together. It takes about 20 minutes, and it's just a great way of getting good value instruments to us because everyone can clip stuff together. So do check it out, it's a wonderful little bit of kit. That's it from me. Thanks again, Bo, for inviting me along. Have a wonderful Christmas and have a wonderful 2025, everyone.
Thank you so much, Starsky, for joining us. And while we don't hand out Mixer of the Year awards, my next guest is here to talk about a budget-friendly option for your Doboz synth setup.
What up, Bo? And what up to all the subscribers of BoBeats channel? I'm Fest Grandiose. Today I want to put in my best of 2024 pick, and it's actually this Zoom Live Track L6. There was a lot of cool gear that dropped this year, but this thing has been very, very handy because I play a lot of live sets and I've been on the hunt for a small compact mixer. So why is it my best pick? It's compact, battery powered. It's also a multi-track 32-bit float recorder. I'm actually using this to record the audio for this video right now. It's got onboard time-based effects that you can clock with MIDI. It can also be a USB-C interface, so you can plug this up right to your phone and get direct audio to your phone, or plug it up to your laptop to get direct audio to whatever DAW you're using. I had the privilege of playing a few shows out in Japan, and I didn't want to have to lug around a big mixer like I normally do. So this was the perfect size to add to all the gear that I took overseas. Thanks for letting me join your show, Bo. I really appreciate it. Peace.
Newcomer of the Year Award.
Something that I think is super important to talk about is that many synth companies are actually very small companies, and they operate at tight margins, sometimes from a basement, garage, or attic. And if you want to get rich, spending years designing and manufacturing a synth or sampler is not the way to go. People do it because, just like you and I, they're passionate about sound and music tech. And this year's winner of Newcomer of the Year award embodies all of this, and the award goes to a company with a promising future ahead of it, Body Synths and their metal fetishist. The metal fetishist is like DFAM's digital younger sibling and sports one oscillator with a noise generator and a fun way to randomize heavy distorted beats. It's not for everyone, but it's very fun and incredibly well made for a first product from Body Synths. So big congrats for winning Newcomer of the Year. What's that noise?
Hello? Hey, I heard you're having an award show.
Yeah, I'm handing out some awards right now, but what are you doing in my bathroom?
Just curious, where's my award for being me? For making a synth with my friends? Best synthesizer made by me and my friends.
Yeah, well, we don't actually have that award.
Best synthesizer with rainbow buttons called Round Robin that has like microtonal and filter here and, you know, 4-voice polyphony.
Maybe we could do it next year?
No, I get it. I get it.
Best hardware update.
Companies being on top of hardware updates has become increasingly more important, especially considering that the cost of gear is rising. Bugs needs to be squashed, and adding new features is a great way to ensure that we as consumers feel respected. And nothing sucks more than buying a new hardware synth just to see a company ditch it in favor of a new product. That really sucks. Now this year there has been many good updates coming out, but we wanted to celebrate a company, and more specifically a product, that since launch is a perfect example of how a product should be released and subsequently updated. It was already great at launch, and they have just kept improving it, and we hope that this company can learn from itself and bring this level of support to their other products too. Best hardware update 2024 goes to the Roland SP404 Mark II.
Hey, how's it going everybody? My name is Freebeat. Back on April 4th, 404 if you will, Roland released Update 404 for their SP404 Mark II, and it introduced a whole slew of new features. In fact, way too many to name here, but for me, the biggest one was the addition of the tone generator, which meant that the 404 was no longer 100% dependent on samples. You can select from a variety of different wave types. You can adjust the pitch and the level. And if you hold shift, there's even more functions. You play the sounds with the pads. And then when you're ready, you can simply record a pad as a sample. And it just shows up in a normal bank. Of course, as is, this is rudimentary at best, but the real power begins when we bring in the 404's effects and then use chromatic mode and skip back sampling to really expand these sounds. I'm not a big sound design guy, but being able to play around with the sounds like this and directly tweak the effects and then just use skip back sampling to resample and then add more effects on top of that, it's pretty cool. As always, chromatic mode works as well, so we can even play chords, which is great. I personally use the tone generator to make sounds for my live rig, where the 404 Mark II is already my main non-drum sample player. Like I said, the 404 update has even more features beyond these. It really took the SP404 Mark II and brought it to a whole new level. This thing is definitely not just for beat makers anymore. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. Big thanks to Bo for having me on this year. Happy holidays. See you again sometime.
Best hardware effects unit.
Just like with Eurorack modules, there are so many new pedals coming out every year, and it's definitely a challenge picking just one winner in this category. And last year we gave the award to a pedal with a broad appeal, and so this year we wanted to celebrate something different and unique. The winner of Best Hardware Effect in 2024 is the BASTL THYME Plus.
Hello, my name is Stephen McLeod, aka All My Friends Are Synths, from sunny Glasgow in Scotland. The one bit of gear that really sticks out for me from the past 12 months or so is THYME Plus from BASTL Instruments, which is spelled like the herb, as in parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme plus. Anyway, this is a stereo, digital, tape machine style effects box, and it has got all of the functions and controls that you would expect from such a thing, including MIDI synchronization, variable delay time, feedback amount, etc, etc. There are also some additional features like 3 virtual reed heads to let you build up these really dense sonic walls, as well as different analog emulations to colour your sound. However, what makes this really interesting and special from my point of view is the inclusion of what BASTL call robots. In practice, what this means is that you can manipulate essentially all of the effects parameters that are on there with separate dedicated modulation sources, including LFOs with different waveforms, a one-shot decaying envelope, an envelope follower, and also CV control, which is pretty cool. personally love creative, unusual effects boxes that allow you to go from fairly subtle variations right up to total bizarre insanity, and Tyme Plus does just that, all in a package which has clearly been very thoughtfully put together. It's awesome.
This year I actually spent a lot of time myself with hardware effects because I was building this massive pedal board for synths, and my next guest actually helped me quite a lot figuring out what cables I needed and what other gear I needed.
Could you tell who was going to be just from the background? Hello, my name's Jorb. I love gear. It's good to see everybody. I'm always excited when Bob asks me to make an appearance. So thank you, Bob, for asking me at all. But when he asked if there were any pedals I tried this year that stood out, I got really excited because I did try a pedal this year that has stood out. It is this, the Kinotone Sparks. It is a stereo filter, a stereo overdrive, a stereo wave folder. That would be cool on its own. But you get this modulation from a built-in LFO, a built-in envelope follower, that brings it into a sort of a different space. That stuff makes sense to synth guys like me, like you, and it lets you make Sparks into this sort of like very flexible effect designer. So anything from like a simple auto swell to a stereo panning tremolo and a like touch dynamic wave folder all in one. It's crazy, it's flexible, it works with a lot of different things. I've used it with synth and drum machine and electric pianos and lap steel even. I think it's great. But that's it. Kinotone rules. Sparks is great. Bob, thanks again for having me. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for watching. Cheers so long. Bye-bye.
Best Groovebox of the Year.
2024 has actually been a great year for grooveboxes and samplers. In the budget-friendly category, we have the Roland P6, which is actually a capable and fun and portable groovebox with sampling capability and a granular synth. Akai also released a keyboard version of the MPC-1, the MPC Key 37, and Electron finally updated the Digitact with stereo sampling, more memory, and finally a 128-step sequencer. And they also released the Digitone 2, which is not just an FM synth, but also a quite capable synthesizer groovebox. Yamaha surprisingly came out with the Seek Track, which is a more synth-focused groovebox, but it has a really user-friendly song mode, something which is quite rare. We also saw the slightly unexpected release of the Ableton Move, and I actually bought one, but I haven't made a video about it yet. We also saw a new sampler from Sonicware in the form of the Lo-Fi XT, which offers something that, for example, the Digitact 2 doesn't, which is polyphonic sample playback.
1, 2, 3.
So with all of this competition in the Groovebox category, who's the winner? The winner is a perfect combination of functionality, great design, and not being crazy expensive. And the award for Best Groovebox of 2024 goes to the Dirty Wave Mate Model 2 or M8 Model 2.
Oh, blood for the blood god. We must capture the magical artifact. You're not going anywhere. I'm Batman.
Hi, Bo. Yeah, I'm working on a synth review. What? What makes the M8 so great? Do you have an hour? What, less than 2 minutes?
Hi everybody, I'm going to try to speedrun 8 reasons why the M8 is such an amazing device. Number 1, the internal synths and sound effects. This thing is a sound designer's dream. Not only are the internal synths amazingly good, but they're also very tweakable. Number 2, the workflow. Now, at first, the M8 might seem intimidating, but once you get into it and you learn the key combos, this thing starts to fly. And what's really cool about this workflow is that the 8 tracks aren't set in stone. You can copy any of these blocks and put them on any track and start making variations on those same patterns. And that lends itself to lots of experimentation. You get step sequencing with an amazing amount of detail, including up to 3 effects per step, which can be anything from re-triggers, pitch bends, changes in octaves, probabilities, or instrument parameter locks. Furthermore, you can go one layer deeper into tables, which makes the possibilities for sequencing practically endless. The screen itself is bright, crisp, and beautiful, and also you can customize it to your heart's content. Enter the matrix. Another really cool feature that maybe other people don't know about is that you can actually hook this device up to your computer so you can project it onto a bigger screen. Amazing battery life. Now already the MK1 was pretty good, but the MK2 hosts a bigger battery, 12 hours I think, which I've never really tested, but I charge this thing every like few weeks and it just keeps going and going and going. Extreme portability. Now this thing is small. There's a banana for scale. Finally, one thing that I love about the M8, backwards compatibility. Now the MK1 has a smaller battery, has a smaller screen, it doesn't have the internal mic, but every single firmware update and feature on the MK2 works on the MK1. And that means that you could buy a used MK1 and have the same amount of fun and good times as you would on this. Anyway, those are some of my favorite features on the M8. You definitely should check it out because it is a powerhouse. Thanks so much, Bo, for having me, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy beat making.
Another new release this year that is also interesting is a sampler, and it's called the S4 from Torso, and my next guest is here to talk about it.
Hi everyone, this is Idra. Thank you so much, Bo, for inviting me to the 2024 Best Synths Awards. Hands down, my pick of the year is the S4 by Torso Electronics. Starting with recording simple sound across the S4 for separate tracks, you can go from these to this. What fascinates me about this instrument is how it allows you to reach such deep and sonic complexity in sound design, create a unique soundscape with a very immediate approach, especially through real-time audio processing. The internal modulation on the S4, based on different waveforms, including random ones, and the possibility to assign them to any parameter, make the creativity experience even deeper, providing continuous sonic inspiration. It's an instrument that is always evolving, and I can't wait to see what new features come next. Check out more on my channels. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Bo.
Best Eurorack modules of the year.
When it comes to Eurorack, there are so many new modules releasing every year that picking just one winner is not just difficult, it feels a bit wrong. So instead I invite a couple of creators to give their take on the best module of the year. And to start things off, here is someone you might not be familiar with.
Hi guys, I'm Shimmer MP3. Allow me to introduce to you Bib. Bib is a multi-effects unit in 1U. You heard me right, 1U, the future is here. Get with it. Bib is built by Plinko Synth and Crayemporium, and it provides you with a drive section with a wave folder. It's got a stereo multi-tap delay, a huge ambient reverb with shimmer, and you can use all of them at once. Hello? If you haven't bought this already, it's time to check it out. Bib's got two bodies, Buzzy and Blueberry. It's a swarm oscillator and a sequencer, all in 1U. If you don't have a 1U row in your Eurorack case, they made this 3U 12 HP module that contains all of them. Bib has been on all my Eurorack patches, it's wonderful, it saves so much space, and that's why I wanted to recommend it. Thank you, Boo, for having me. See you guys around. Love you. Bye.
Hey there, this is Panic Girl and welcome in my studio. My favorite piece of gear this year is the T12 touch controller and sequencer from Doboz. I mainly use it to compose melodies with its touch-sensitive keys, which are really nice to work with. It's also very handy to have in your system for playing live sets. You can tune each of the keys individually, sync it to an external clock if needed, and save your settings in presets if you want to. You can switch between 5 operating modes, which are all pretty simple to set up, including 3 different sequencer modes, an arpeggiator, and the option to use it as a keyboard controller. What I like most about this module is that despite having many options to choose from in the menu, it is still very clear in its structure and easy to navigate. And most importantly, it makes my Eurorack system all in all more inspiring and drives my creativity even further. So that's it from my side. Thanks so much for having me, Bo, and happy holidays, everyone. Bye!
Thank you so much, Shimmery and Panic Girl, for that, and my next guest is the synth dad we all wished we had.
Hi Bo, and hello everyone. I'm Synth Dad, thanks for having me on. I'm going to cover the Befaco Oneiroi. Let's start with using the Oneiroi to make its own sounds. And for this we can use the built-in wavetable and supersaw oscillator and the sine wave. Let's bring up a filter. We can adjust the modulation on the filter and animate that a little bit using the built-in LFO. Dial up the resonance. Now we bring in the ambience. Now the fun begins. Let's use the looper. We're going to record that output. We're recording the wet signal with the effects. If you want to just listen to the looper, but instead we can just reverse it, feed it into the effects chain. We're now looping back on top of ourselves here. Like the filter oscillate with noise that gets fed into the resonator. Showing you how much fun it is and how easy it is to very quickly just make something crazy on this. Now let's play around with sending some drums into Oneiroi. This time we're going to use it as a sound effects here. I got a aux sound off my mixer, bring up the input. So we start to hear Oneiroi coming back in on channel 8. We're going to play around with the resonator. This video was a lot of fun to make because I just kept getting lost. I could have made something 10 times longer. And thank you all for watching.
Hello Bo and everybody watching. I'm Ben, DivKid, and I hope you're having a lovely end to the year. 2024 has been great for Eurorack module releases. I should mention 4 that I released, the Output Bus, Manic, Trace and the DivSkip, but something I've had lots of fun with is the Befaco Bandit, a really creative multi-band VCA or EQ. So let's go into a patch and show you why I've loved it so much. So here's Bandit kind of working wonders for this rich, musical, rhythmically led patch from a single oscillator. I have different animations, different envelopes and LFOs, fading in these different bands, fading it in like EQ or a multi-band VCA. Let me pull this really quickly and show you what's going on. So here's my oscillator into Bandit with the lows, low mids, high mids, and highs. And the high mids and highs are going out into effects. We can create a custom mix, as I say, like a multi-band EQ or multi-band VCA. But the most fun is animating it with different rhythms, like this rolling envelope. And say an LFO to the high end to fade into this reverb. It makes that single oscillator sound like lots of layers. And we can perform really nicely with it. We could bring in some drums. If if you'd like to see more of Bandit and more patches like this, there's a demo video over on the DivKid YouTube. Thanks again to Bo and everyone watching. Have a lovely end of the year, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Thank you so much, SynthDad and DivKid. And while on the topic of modular synthesizers, my friend Tefty wanted to share some thoughts from his modular laboratory.
Hello everyone, my name's Tefty, and thank you very much, Bo, for inviting me to this year's video. I am very honored. My pick for best synth this year is the Voltage Lab 2 from Pittsburgh Modular, mainly because it's got a lot of character, and that character partly comes from the new wave shaping that is in Oscillator 1 and 2, which are two different wave shapers, but also the analog effects from Florist and Echoes, and this sequencer that is very reminiscent of Electron type of stuff that definitely needs a manual to crack open to get the most out of. So I have a sequence loaded up right here, using both oscillators. And if I just start messing with stuff, now this is just like the pure analog tone right now. I'll start bringing in some analog echo. And then the Florist. Just really interesting tones you can get out of this. So my personal recommendation is to definitely pair it with something like the analog heat, because you do need a filter, because there is no filter in here. For instance, I'll turn on the analog heat, get some crispy top end, and then I'll start bringing down the filter. And then I'll boost the resonance a bit. And right about there. Delicious character. Let's just throw on a few more effects. We'll give it the bit reduction, the warble, and the reverb at the end. Thanks again for inviting me, Bo. I really appreciate it.
When it comes to MIDI keyboards, MIDI controllers, and sequencers, there hasn't actually been that many interesting releases this year, and not enough to hand out an award. But there has been one interesting, slightly controversial release that some would call a VST in a box. Yeah, by definition, it is. And others who actually like it would just call it a bit misunderstood.
Hi Bo and friends, it is a huge honor to be here this year. I'm Dylan Paris, and when the Arturia AstroLab was announced and released, there was a little bit of negative feedback, and I do understand it. It's pretty expensive, and it doesn't even include the entire Arturia V collection, which I really wish it did. And if you don't like this thing, that is so fair. But for myself and others, there is something pretty magical about having these sounds I've used for years and years be available in a really fun to play keyboard with pretty substantial hands-on control for performance, if not sound design. Take these sounds I know and love and perform with them. Plugging this in and immediately having access to a huge selection of sounds and instruments is really nice, especially for a sampler like the Dig Attack, but even with something with its own built-in synths like the Push 3. I'm someone who just loves sitting down, looking out the window and playing keys. I do it with all kinds of different devices. This year, this was my favorite to do that with. To be able to on the fly say, no, I have a DX7, actually I have the Mini or a Jupiter 8. At the end of the day, pretty much anything you want to do could be done in a DAW for cheaper. So I am not saying this is the best value on the market, but I do think it's misunderstood, because if you only think about it as a way to play live, I think you're missing out on a really fun workflow, where instead of thinking about MIDI and plugins, you're just thinking about sound and performance recorded into samples, into audio, baking that down into something that you can use later or edit later. Is this for everybody? No. But is it a misunderstood gem? In my opinion, yes. Thanks again, Bo. Thanks again, audience. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your year.
Best synthesizer under €1,000.
This year we've actually seen quite a few synths around the $500 to $1,000 mark, and I recently reviewed the Polygon Synth, which is quite innovative, and we also got the Micro Korg 2, which brings one of the best displays in the sub $1,000 category. And Moog came out with the Spectravox and Labyrinth, and both are interesting but perhaps a bit niche. And we also got the Tempera. It's a granular synthesizer and it's worth mentioning. But when it comes to bang for your buck, this year's winner of best synth under $1,000 is hard to beat. It has a ton of polyphony, 4-part multi-timbral, and a great sound. This year's winner of best synth under $1,000 is going to Korg for their MultiPoly. a big congratulations to Korg for winning Best Synth under $1,000.
Flagship Synthesizer of the Year.
This year we actually had a surprising problem, and it was picking the best flagship synth of 2024 because there has been a lot of them. For example, we had the Dreadbox Murmux, the PWM Mantis, the Melbourne Instruments Delia with the motorized knobs, and I am personally biased towards the Arturia Polybrute 12 because I have one and it sounds great, and I'm also a huge fan of the physical mod matrix that it has. However, if I contain my bias for a moment, the Polybrute 12, even with its upgraded Poly Aftertouch keybed, is still just a Polybrute, and we wanted to celebrate something new. And around the time that the Polybrute 12 came out, there was another synth coming out that is maybe worthy of an award.
What's up everyone, and thanks for having me back, Bo. My favorite synth of the year is the Oberheim TEO-5. To me, the Oberheim TEO-5 is my pick because it brings that incredible coveted sound of the Oberheim SEM filter to a much more reasonable price point that many more people can enjoy. This synth perfectly represents my philosophy of character and sound quality over features, and while it might not have that many voices and might be a little small in terms of keyboard, the sound absolutely speaks for itself. Thanks so much for having me, Bo, and thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you, Miles, for being a guest and showing off the TEO-5, but there is crazy competition in this year's flagship category, so I had to ask another friend of mine what he thought was a great flagship synth of 2024.
Dear Santa Claus, I've been really good this year, and there's only one thing on my Christmas list, the marvelous Moog Muse synthesizer. You see, I don't have any synths, and I've been dreaming of creating music. The Muse would be perfect for a total beginner like me. I've heard it has 8 voices of polyphony, which means I could play cool chords. And those VCOs like the Voyager, fat AF. I promise I've been extra good this year. I've been practicing my scales, I've watched every synth tutorial on YouTube, and I haven't spent a single penny on gear. Nope, not me. If you bring me the Muse, I'll use its arpeggiator and sequencer to write you the best Christmas carol ever. I could create funky bass lines for your reindeer. And the diffusion delay will make shimmering bells just like your sleigh has. Just think of all the joy it would bring to this synthless musician. With its bitimbral capabilities, it's like getting 2 synths in one. That's double the Christmas cheer. Thank you, Santa Claus. I'll leave out some cookies, milk, and maybe some patch cables. Sincerely yours, Sanjay C. P.S. If you happen to notice any other synths in the room, those definitely aren't mine. I'm just synth sitting for a friend.
Thank you, Sanjay, and I hope that Santa Claus gets your message. And you do make a great case for the Moog Muse being the flagship synth of the year. However, flagship synths aren't all about size, and my next guest is here to present a flagship synth in a slightly smaller form factor.
Hello Bo, thanks for having me on your channel again. What is my favorite instrument of 2024? Teenage Engineering OP-XY. I'm still in honeymoon phase. I had it for a couple of months. I've been an OP platform fan since the beginning. I still have an OP1, I have an OP1 field, but I am a sequencer guy. So when I knew that I put into this more refined and usable interface all the sequencing power of the OPZ, I was thrilled. I like how with this machine you can start with a very simple idea and then using some concept that I never found anywhere, like step components, punch-in effects, tape mangling, you can evolve that simple seed into something really crazy. The powerful sequencer is just one thing that I love. It also comes with very nice new instrument and a powerful sampler. Plus, it integrates really well with the rest of your studio. So that's about it. Thanks for having me. I wish you and all the other artists involved in this video the best. I'll see you next year. Ciao.
Now, while the next synth might not be a flagship for everyone, I also wanted to mention the Solar 42F. It's made by Alta Music, a small Latvian company, and it is a fantastic synthesizer. So, with all of that competition in the flagship category, who will actually get the award? Who won? Well, the award goes to another pretty small company, and the synth is the Super Gemini.
Hello BoBeats and all fellow synth heads out there in the world. This is Berg wishing you all a happy new year.
At the end of every year, I am thankful. Thankful that I get to spend time with this wonderful community of synth creators and all of you synth nerds who watch my videos. Say what you will about the internet and social media in general, the synth space feels different. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And thank you to all the guests for putting in so much effort. And thank you to all the viewers for supporting us music tech creators. We do need your support. And here's to 2025 and another year of gear and another year of fun bleepity bloopity sounds. So, hope to talk to you all later.